Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Orphanlast, aka Skylar Madison, and today I'm coming at you with another Noblefrugal Studio collaboration video where I am painting out this background, and eventually, once I'm finished with it, I'm going to go ahead and submit it over to Noblefrugal Studio. Noblefrugal Studio is a channel on YouTube ran by a guy called Sebastian, and Sebastian is going to take this background and animate a complex scene on top of it using open tunes. And so if that interests you, feel free to take a look at the link in the video description that links over to Noblefrugal Studio. I like his teaching style. He does teach open tunes. He's a good guy. I do recommend his channel. Anyways, so let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video. Basically, it's the end of the year or the beginning of a new one, whatever you guys want, whatever way you guys want to look at it. Honestly, I don't really care. But you know, this is like New Year's has never been something that I've celebrated. I've always kind of considered it to be kind of a 100% invented celebration. Like, in a way, every holiday is kind of like that to some extent. Like, sometimes it's like anniversaries for real people or invented people, things like that, but whatever. But really, time is just an idea, and although it's measurable, it's only measurable when, you know, looking at how a planet rotates around the sun. That's how it's measurable, and the rotation of a planet. So, you know, it's completely invented. I mean, yay! The Earth rotated around the sun. Cool. It's never been anything that I've been really into. But I did make a New Year's resolution last year, and that was basically to make this YouTube channel. And that's all the full extent of how much I celebrated New Year's last year. And really, the end of the year for me is Christmas. Like, everything after that is just like, okay, well, let's, yeah, okay, well, okay, yeah, the next year, you know, 2018 can, you know, come any moment now, yay. So it's just kind of like sitting in limbo after Christmas for me. It's just like, well, what is this all about? Why are we waiting for another year? But anyways, so that's just my perception. But yeah, given that it's New Year's Eve or close to that, whatever, I guess, you know, there are some things that people expect to hear. People like to hear these sorts of messages, I guess. Really, the only thing that comes to mind is net neutrality, talking about that. Now, I normally try to keep my politics out of my YouTube channel and my Twitter feed, but this is something that will affect all of us. It's extremely important. And really, it's not like, oh, the Republicans want this and the Democrats don't, even though it's 100% the Republicans' fault. It's the Republican, like, the people in power now are, by and large, the overwhelming majority Republican. And before people wind up throwing rocks at me or whatever, I'm a Republican, okay? But the people that are to blame for the destruction of net neutrality are Republicans. When the political party, the ideology that I happen to identify with politically the most, when the party, not the ideology, but when the party is wrong, it should be pointed out. Now, I have the freedom of speech. I have every right to voice it. So if you happen to be a Republican and you're offended, I'm sorry, but the Republicans are at fault. They appointed a committee, okay? These are this committee consists of people who are not elected. Okay? They appointed a committee inside of, I believe, the FCC to dismantle net neutrality. And the decision that this committee has made is not only going to affect not just a state or two, it's going to affect the entire country and, nay, the entire world. It's going to affect the entire world. I mean, my weird behavior set aside, it's going to affect the entire world. Pure and simple. This is huge. And not in a good way at all. Like, what happened to representation in America? I'm like, this totally takes away the power from the people. And that's what the Constitution of the United States was geared to do. It was designed to put power into the hands of the people. And the Declaration of Independence starts out with, "We, the people of the United States," and then progressively goes on to describe why and how we oppose King George and why we don't accept how he governs, and that it is not our government. That's how the Declaration of Independence is written. It's power to the people. And that's one of the reasons why I love open source stuff. It's power to the people. It's unbridled freedom. And it's great. But anyways, the destruction of net neutrality is not great at all. Ultimately, I'm probably going to make a few predictions. Hopefully in the course of this video I don't go too far into conspiracy theory land. I try to keep things level-headed, and I try to keep politics out of my YouTube channel and out of my Twitter feed. But this is important. At first, it's going to be like what I'm predicting, and it's going to be what other people are predicting on YouTube. It's basically going to be where it's going to be like paying for satellite television or cable television, where you get a package deal here and there. You can pick different packages, and that will allow faster speeds for variously different websites that you like using. And for all those websites that you're not paying extra for, they're going to have slower speeds. And yeah, all of these internet service providers are publicly saying, "Oh, we promise we won't throttle speeds." Yet these very same companies have throttled the speeds of variously different websites and services and such like that in the past. So, there's no reason to really believe them. Take Comcast, for example. They've done it even when it's been illegal. "Oh, we promise we're not going to do it." Yeah, bull crap. You've done it. Pure and simple. Like you have a track record. You've already done it. Like, why should we believe you? So, basically that's what it's going to be. And if you don't pay for these faster speeds, my prediction is that, I'm not like some prophet here. There is a margin of error that I can't look into a crystal ball and see for sure, but my prediction is that the internet speeds for the websites that you don't pay extra for, that aren't included in on the package, they'll work just fine at first. They'll be moderately good speeds, but it's the philosophy of if you were to be as so cruel to put a frog into a boiling pot of water, the frog is going to freak out and jump out of that pot of water. However, if you put that frog into a cold or, lukewarm pot of water, throw it in there, and ever so slowly heat up that pot to boiling temperatures. The frog will sit there, stay, and die. And that's exactly what we, as the American people, and everyone all around the world that uses American websites, with servers that happen to be focally placed inside of the United States, that's what we all have to look forward to. Eventually, this pot is going to get hotter and hotter and hotter. The speeds of these websites that we're not paying extra for inside of some package deal are going to get slower and slower and slower. And once that happens, my prediction is that, okay, well, the sites that you're not paying extra for every single month inside of some package deal, the actual packages themselves are going to change. They're going to evolve over time so that they no longer resemble a plan that's been that we're all familiar with different package plans to get different channels on our TV and stuff like that with our satellite TV or cable. It's not going to resemble that anymore. Eventually, it's going to come to the point to where it's more so going to resemble you playing a video game on your favorite, on your Android or iPhone device, and here you are playing away, and then, you need to micro purchase something, and maybe you purchase it and you use it, and to your astonishment, oh, look, oh crap, I used it and now I don't have it anymore. So if I need to use this item again in the future, I'm going to have to purchase it again. Micro-purchasing. That's basically what we're going to experience eventually with the internet. A micro-purchasable internet. And in the end, we won't really be buying anything. We are not going to be owning stock on that website. We're not going to be owning anything that has to do with that website. And they put this all under the guise of, oh, we just want to save the customers money. Yeah, nonsense. No, you're not. You're not trying to do that. You're trying to screw us over is what you're doing. It's frustrating. I wish there was something that we could do about it. There just isn't. Now, people have been reassuring me, oh, well, a bunch of Republican and Democrat senators have voiced their disagreement with Ajit Pai and this committee that has voted to get rid of net neutrality. Well, good for them. Who cares? They're not going to do anything. Politicians will promise you the world, and then once they're elected, they won't give a crap about what they promised you. They don't care. Ultimately, this puts more power in the hands of politicians and less power in the hands of the people. Now, in my opinion, we've already given up too many of our freedoms. Now, Wyatt Earp. Let's take Wyatt Earp, for example, okay? He was the first person to pretty much say, hey, if you want to keep your gun out in public, you're going to have a permit. And people saw that as a restriction of our Second Amendment right. Okay? Now, I'm not going to say whether it is or isn't. It's just that was the opinion of the time. And then, after the war in Iraq, we gave up more of our freedom. We have the list of broken promises, which happens to be the Bill of Rights. We have the right to privacy. We have the right to privacy. Okay? There is no difference from a soldier sleeping in a bed in our house to having the government be able to look at our browsing history. There's no difference from an illegal search and seizure from the government being able to look at our browsing history. This is something that the government has. They have that. Yay! They have that. Why do they have that? That's none of their business. That's none of their business. And they say, oh, it's so that we can protect you. Who gives a crap about your protection? No one asked you to protect us. If we are at war, you will fight our enemies. That's it. That's it. If there's a law that needs to be passed, you don't pass it based on, oh, it's for your protection. You pass it because it's the right thing to do. End of discussion. That's the only reason to pass a law. Not, oh, you need to be protected. With every protection we get, we lose rights. We lose freedoms. We have enough protection. We don't need any more from the government. Maybe in some future date where new technology, like extravagantly new technology, appears. Maybe at that point, we'll need some sort of other protection. Because at that point, this extravagantly new technology will provide us a freedom of a different kind. Like the internet. Let's take the internet, for example. That wasn't around when the Constitution was made. The internet provides us with economic freedoms that were never available to us. We can communicate with business partners and friends all around the world on a daily basis. We weren't able to do that. Like, you start changing the internet too much and we wind up reverting back to the 1980s. Oh, yay! Yeah, where, AT&T can charge us just outrageous bills and say, oh yeah, in order for you to call into the neighboring town, that's long distance. It doesn't matter if they're just like 3 miles away from you or something. That's long distance. So, you were on the phone for like 30 minutes, and so, 10 cents per minute, it doesn't sound like much, but 10 cents per minute adds up over time. We don't want to revert back. I don't want to revert back to the 1980s. I mean, we were educated enough, but we're more educated now. We have knowledge at our fingertips. We have knowledge. We have an entire freaking computer in our pocket, and that has access to every bit of human knowledge that has ever been gained. We carry that in our pocket. And the idea that they're like, oh, we need to restrict that. Oh, yeah? You want to restrict that? This is a right. Knowledge. We have the ability with the internet to double check the sources of the news. So when CNN says, oh, this or that happened, you can double check. You don't have to take their word for it. Take the story of Michael Jackson's death, for example, okay? Michael Jackson, when he died, he had somebody that lived within the neighborhood-ish, and this person got onto Twitter, which was something new at the time, and said, what is going on at Michael Jackson's address? There's so many ambulances. That is how the press got to discover that Michael Jackson died. Okay, now, that's just one little piddly example, but this is also an example of how you can double check the sources of the media. We don't need restrictions. The idea that Congress is going to take the issue of net neutrality and vote on it and not just leave it up to the FCC, to me, it's nonsense. So I don't know how this is going to affect my channel, but I'm going to continue providing what I have been providing for you guys until I either see success or the complete futility of continuing. And I plan on trying to continue even after that if it's futile. But we'll see. Anyways, guys, that pretty much concludes it with this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you like this video, feel free to take a look at the other videos that are appearing on the screen.